Hello, my name is John Gallagher and I'm a lead TSA for BMC Digital Workplace. In terms of the agenda for this session, I'm going to start out by telling you about some of the changes within BMC Digital Workplace, and then I'll go over the installation highlights introduced with version 3.4. Then I'll cover off the installation prerequisites before getting straight into a demonstration. So most of you will know by now, my IT has rebranded into BMC Digital Workplace, and that happened earlier this year. And with that, we introduced an advanced and a basic tier, both of which are available on-premise and in the cloud. If you'd like to know more, I'd suggest checking out this blog on BMC communities. As far as some of the updates are concerned, we have simplified the overall installation process in a number of ways. So first of all, depending on the complexity of your installation, you can now either choose from an advanced options file or a shortened version, which contains less parameters. And secondly, we can now run the post-installation scripts to pick up pre-populated responses. So this is particularly useful as it eliminates potential errors when entering the values as previously prompted. We also have a new timer which will help you keep track of your installation's progress, and we've also enhanced our documentation to help simplify the overall installation experience. And finally, we have two separate installers, one for the upgrade and another for fresh installations. In terms of the prerequisites, we require JRE 8.1 and above, at least 100 gigs of disk space, 16 gigs of RAM if you're installing a demo environment. If you plan on larger environments, production environments, please refer to our documentation online. And for the duration of the install, we need at least 1.5 gigs within the temp file system. We require either Red Hat or CentOS 6.5 and above as the platform for the DWP catalog. And for the database itself, you need Oracle 11G or 2, or SQL Server 2008 or 2, 2012 or 2, or 2014. As far as ITSM is concerned, we need 8.1 SP2 and above. And we always recommend that you perform a Linux system update just to make sure you're up to date with the latest software packages and libraries. We also have a separate dependencies script which will install all of the prerequisite software that the DWP catalog installer requires. And finally, if you're running as a non-root user, please ensure that you have the correct folder level permissions as documented online. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is extract the Digital Workplace catalog tar file. And as you can see, it's extracted the options.txt file, the installer, license agreement, and the instructions, which are also available within BMC documentation. So it's going to take a few more seconds to finish off. So now we're going to check JQ. So you can see I have JQ, but it looks like I don't have permission to run it. So just to be sure, I'm going to actually copy over JQ, which is actually contained within the installation package. So I've copied it over. It's already there, just overwrite it. So now what I need to do is give it permission so that I can run it. So I'm adding execute permission here. Okay, so now let's test it. then you can see the JSON processor is available. Now just checking the Java version, and as I said at the beginning, it needs to be 1.8 and above, so that's fine. Now we're gonna change our U limits as per the recommendations within our documentation. This is just to ensure that there aren't any performance issues during the installation. So now that we have that done, you can see the shorter options file and the more advanced one. So for most installations, you probably only use just the shorter options.txt file. So before we proceed to fill out the options.txt file, we need to create our table spaces within the database. So you can see the first one that I've highlighted is the system, and then the second one is the tenant database. So we're going to pre-create both of them before we actually kick off the installation. So these commands are actually copied from our documentation as an example. So obviously, you would modify them as per your own requirements, but for the purpose of a demonstration, I've just copied and pasted them out. So you can see the commit has completed. So now we're ready to start editing our options.txt file. And as I said, I'm going to be using the shorter, simplified version of the options.txt file. So you can see this one is the one that has been extracted with the installation. What I generally do is copy it off to my own local PC. It's much easier to fill it out, and then copy back in again. So you can see I have my JRE path, I have the DWP user, which is the admin user and password, and I have the mid-tier password, which is going to be used to connect to license DWP catalog. And just make sure you have the fully qualified domain name and you have the correct database user and database password. And obviously you need to make sure that the database server is pingable and reachable across the network, and you have the correct port number to connect as well as the correct instance. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just going to copy all of this over into a new options.txt file and use that one. So I'm going to remove the old one and edit a new one. And paste in all the values here. Save it. And now I'm just going to give it read, write, execute permission. But before I run the install, I want to do a system update. So this is just to update your Linux system with the latest software packages and libraries. Probably going to take a few seconds. So you can see there's quite a lot that needs to be updated on this particular system. So I'm just going to select yes for everything. Now I'm going to run the DWP catalog's own install dependency script, which essentially does a yum install of all the required packages that the DWP catalog needs. So it'll take a few more seconds. You can see it's updating everything now. And it's complete. So now at this point, we're ready to kick off the installation. And as you can see, I'm specifying the -O option with the shorter simplified options.txt file. Quit out of the license agreement, select yes, and you can see it's been kicked off, and it gives me the path to where the log file is as well. So all I need to do now is check the installation logs progress by doing tail -F. So just copy it in. Now you can see exactly what the installation is doing. And this gives you a really good view to check to see if there's any earlier problems, such as connecting to the database. You'd immediately see a problem here. So let's let it run for a few seconds. Once it's past the initial database part, it usually progresses to the end. And you can see I've skipped on. In most cases it takes roughly about a half an hour to an hour to finish. And just look for the installation succeeded message. So now we're ready to proceed on to the post installation. And this involves running two particular scripts. One is the Schema script and the other one is the Tenant. So before we set up the Tenant, we need to set up the Schema. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to create a text file with all of the pre-populated responses that the script would normally ask for. So this is very useful to eliminate user error, because all we need to do is specify it when we're running it. So you can see I've just added all the values that the script would normally ask for. And once I'm satisfied with that, just save it. Just have one more look at it. So everything looks correct here. Now, at this point, I'm ready to run my post install create schema. It's actually just going to take the DWP admin user and password, which it looks for. Just going to paste it in. Oops. Let's try that again. Create schema, take out the SH, and then force it to look at that text file. Now you can see that it's successfully read the values from the text file, and it's creating the groups, and it's moved on to create all of the other bits that it requires. So let's just leave it a couple of seconds. Shouldn't take too long. Nearly there. Okay, and schema created. indicates a success. So let's go for a tenant. So change schema to tenant and leave the file name as it is. As you can see, it's successfully picked up all of the values. The tenant name is coffee, domain is just going to be coffee.com, and it's picked up the tenant DBA user admin and the password. And this should roughly take up to a minute. If there's any problems with this particular section, you'll usually see within the first couple of seconds. So let's just leave it run. Should be finished any minute now. You see it's just finished. Now I've just skipped on to accessing the service broker or DWP catalog server. And just enter in the normal URL for the admin console for DWP. So before I can do anything, I need to configure the catalog, and if I want to use the Remedy connector, I'm going to have to install the Remedy ITSM integration patch on any of the AOR servers that I intend integrating the DWP catalog with ITSM. So you can see I've accessed the EPD site and I've already started downloading the zip file. Now if you're using an AOR server group, you only need to run this installation on the first AOR server of the group and then just copy the remote action folder to the other members of the group. So I'm just going to copy that out to another location and then extract it before I can run it. I'll just copy it out to see. Once I extract it, then I can navigate to the directory. So once I navigate to the directory, then I should be able to kick off the installation script. But before I do that, I need to make sure that I have my correct Java or JRE Home. So let's find out where on the system Java is installed. So I'll just copy out the path and then set the home. So set Java home equals, and now I should be able to run my batch file. So type install .bat. Let's run it. Just asking me for my Air System home directory, so I'm just gonna copy it out. So once I copy it out, then I'm going to put it into the path. And now I'm going to put in my admin username and password. Let's type that again, admin, and then put in the password. Host name. almost done. And I'm using Portmapper, so I can just press return on that. And as you can see, it's going to create a remote action directory, which will contain all of the libraries and files that are required for the ITSM integration. And it'll also set up a manager level approval that can be used by the DWP catalog. So now I'm ready to hook up to the Remedy system. And that's pretty much it. So the rest of the instructions are available within BMC docs. Thanks for listening.